Can you speak sensibly this time, please, Kevin? I really need an actual, proper conversation.
You want to know how I found you, Nora?
What's he all pissed about?
Be honest.
You don't want me to be honest.
Yes, I do.
Oh no.
I smoked, and I don't want a dog.
Why didn't you just tell me?
Because you wanted it. We don't fucking talk about anything. I didn't stop you because you decided you wanted to do it and you did it. Or are you afraid you're gonna give that one away too? Every year, I have 2 weeks of vacation, and every year I come to fucking Australia, and I show your picture to everybody I meet. Do you know this woman? Have you ever seen her before? And they all just look at me and they shake their heads and they say, I'm sorry. Everybody, so fucking sorry. But I couldn't stop. And a couple days ago, I showed you a picture of that nun. And I saw it in her eyes. She recognized you. I couldn't believe it. There you were. And I was so... But I didn't know what to say. Or where to start. And so I just thought, oh, fuck it, I'll erase it. Just erase it all. And maybe that would give us another chance.
Have you learned nothing?
But you were right. It's not true. That's how I found you, Nora. I refuse to believe you're gone.
Did you move back to Mapleton?
No. I'm still in Jordan. In our house.
Anyone still call it miracle?
Not so much.
How are the Murphys?
Michael's pretty much running the church now. I see Erica there every once in a while. She's great. And John and Lori still live next door.
I talk to Lori sometimes.
What?
Every once in a while. Just when I need to.
She knows you're here.
Don't be mad at her. She's my therapist. She wasn't allowed to tell you.
Why didn't you tell me?
Because you were right, Kevin. What you said in the hotel. The last time we saw each other. I needed to be with my kids.
Oh, I didn't mean to...
You meant it, and you were right, Kevin. There were always going to be bulletproof vests, hugs from holy men, tattoos to cover up. But those were just ways to deal with what I lost. I needed a way to get them back. I knew there was a chance it would kill me, but I made my peace with that. And I said goodbye to my brother. And I climbed right in.
And then you changed your mind.
No. I didn't change my mind.
What?
I went through. I was in the parking lot.
What?
Naked. Curled up like a baby. It was the same parking lot I'd just been in, except there were no trucks. No people, no nothing. I walked long enough to convince myself that I was the only thing alive in that place. And then night came, and I saw lights, so I went to them. It was a house, and there was a man and a woman there. They were kind, and they told me. The man told me that 7 years earlier, he was in a supermarket, and every single person disappeared except for him. And the woman told me that she lost her husband, her 3 daughters, and all 8 of her grandchildren. And that's when I understood. Over here, we lost some of them. But over there, they lost all of us.
Wow.
So I went and did what I came there to do. I went to find my kids. And I walked through Mapleton. Most of the houses are overgrown with weeds, but the street lights still turned on at night, and that made me feel less stupid about expecting them still to be there. Still there in the very same house where I lost them. When I got there, I stood behind a tree across the street and I waited because I was too scared to go up and knock. And then, after a while, the door opened. At first, I didn't recognize them. A tall, teenage boy with curly hair. And a girl, maybe 11. They were my children. And then my husband came out, and he was with a woman. She was pretty.
Of course he fucking
She was pretty, and they were all smiling. They were happy. And I understood that here in this place, they were the lucky ones. In a world full of orphans, they still had each other. And I was a ghost. I was a ghost who had no place there. And that, Kevin, is when I changed my mind. The physicists who sent me through told me the first person to use the machine was the guy who invented it. That took a long time, too. But I found him. And I asked him to make another machine, because he already knew how. And he asked me if I'd come all that way, why in God's name did I want to go back? And I told him it's because I didn't belong there. So he built it.
Fucking hell.
And I came back through. I came back here. Did I want to be with you, Kevin? Of course I did. But so much time had passed. It was too late. And I knew that if I told you what happened, that you would never believe me.
I believe you.
You do?
Why wouldn't I believe you? You're here.
I'm here.
took the long way round. They took their time, but they came back. Well, I got what I wanted. I laughed, I had a little cry, and I did have a little jump when Nora came off the bike, and I had a big shock. Nora actually went through. She went through, she passed. I am very satisfied with there being another world. I think at some point, probably most of us asked us, I think it may have even been asked in the show itself actually, kind of would, you know, what if we're the ones who disappeared? And that's fascinating, because I mean, wouldn't you just love to watch another take on The Leftovers from the other side? We've already got a crossover character, at least one. I would watch that show. I would find that fascinating if you were only 140 million of you trying to figure out, you know, how to run shit. That would be really interesting. I want to see that show. So fingers crossed, guys. Hopefully we can get another show commissioned, the spin-off. It's really tough. I don't know. There's a part of me that's sad, and I think it's literally just because that was it. Because I kind of knew from the end of episode 7 that was probably it, really, for the forwarding of our story. And you know, and the job of the finale is to wrap it in a bow. So I'm just sad that there'll be no more, you know, no more what, no more, oh shit, where are we gonna go? Oh, you know, we've had the, you know, the build up. This is the finale, and this episode for me felt more like an epilogue than it did a finale. You know, it was kind of almost not a part of the main narrative. It was like, oh, and by the way, just some outstanding questions you might have. We're just going to clear those up. And I'm really, really grateful for that they gave us that we could actually sit there and take it in. And we're left with the mysteries that we should be left with. Because like I was saying to you before, it's less interesting. The actual answer to the mystery is less interesting, almost always, than the process of unpicking the mystery. But they still gave us that, and I really appreciate it. And we're all still left with our own interpretations of what happened. And I love the characters in this show. It's really similar to Lost in that regard, that it's your belief in the characters and the creation of the world that they're in that propels you through. And you know, the mysteries and everything else around it are like brain food, and they're really sexy, and they make you kind of laugh, and you know, and all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, you really care about the characters. Those wretched bastards making me think Laurie was dead, though. I would have liked more on Laurie, I can't lie. The only issue I could possibly have with the finale is that they've done so much to put me off Nora by this point. I didn't really want them to get back together. And I was sort of, yeah, I didn't want a Hollywood romance ending for those two, and I'm glad they didn't give us that, because that wasn't where I was emotionally with them by this point. And you know, Kevin didn't turn up and be perfect and sweep her off her feet. You know, he was doing his same old shenanigans. You know, let's start over from here and forget all of those bad things happened, which is exactly what he would have done 30 years ago or 20 years ago, whatever the time jump is between the two periods. So I'm really, really glad that they resisted that and kept it much more faithful to the two characters. I did love the little references in that finale to Pretty Near the Goats and Don't Waste Your Breath, and you know, that same randomness of people like the nuns just shagging a guy upstairs, and she's just zero fucks left to give with Nora. I really like Nora's conversation with Laurie on the phone, especially the last half bit, but when she lost her shit and was just like, don't fucking bother. I like that a lot. Yeah, I think that's it for me. I think the only thing that was missing for me was I would have really liked more Laurie. I would have liked an explanation of what happened at that period of time. I'm thrilled that she was still with John. I'm over the moon she had a happy ending. She deserved it. You know, she earned it. Laurie is a character that connects with people, and she's honest, you know, and she has integrity, which is more important, you know, where she can't be, when she's made a promise, she keeps it. And I love that about her character. I love that she's brave enough to tell people things that they really don't want to hear, or to say things that she's really terrified of saying, and she does it anyway. So no surprises whatsoever, but my overall MVP for the entire series is Laurie. She has emerged as my favourite character, which I would never have believed if you'd have told me that kind of, I don't know, the end of episode 1, because I think I was really pissed at Laurie at that point after Jill had almost died in the house fire. I was, well, she could have got up in a puff of smoke and I'd have celebrated. So that was really strange, and I like that. I like when you come around to a character. I had that in Lost actually with Kate. There was so much of the time Kate really pissed me off, but towards the end I wasn't someone who was pissed with Kate at the end of Lost. She actually emerged as pretty much my favourite character, other than in Lost for me it was Jin and Sun were my favourites. Just constantly cry. I can't even now watch any of the emotional scenes with Jin and Sun without crying my eyes out. Just beautiful. Obviously Jack, you know, because he holds the narrative together, but up there in a sort of joint top 4 is also Kate and well, the whole fucking cast, to be honest, with Lost. By the end of it I was just like, I love everybody. So in this, Laurie is my favourite character. And you might be like, what the fuck, there's people that's been in it since season 1 and you're... Grace Playford had more of an emotional impact on me in one episode, really, than Jill or Tom did in the whole thing. I don't mean any disrespect to the actors. They both did a fantastic job, but the story just wasn't about them. You know, we never really got things from their perspective, so that makes it kind of impossible for me to have that kind of connection with the character. Grace Playford got one of the best monologues in this entire programme, the entire series. You know, that story of how her kids disappeared, it was so simple and so beautiful and moving. I know it will stay with me forever. Like, I could right now sit with someone and try and tell them about that monologue and recite it almost word for word, because it was so well executed by her. That actress is phenomenal. I wish we could have had her earlier, because I'd have liked to, really would have liked to see more of Grace, but she did what she needed to. So I'll have Grace in there. And I got to give out an honourable mention for the mayor from season 1. I really like the mayor. I'm gutted that was it. We only had her that season and they only gave her a few parts.
AFORDA, baby boy, 20 inches. The white one. Obviously, the fucking white one, Marlene. Fuck. Goodbye. Did you know somebody stole the baby Jesus? And there we have it, our very first Heroes Day.
I still don't think they were heroes. My brother-in-law disappeared and he was a dipshit.
Oh, for
They're
fuck.
heroes because no one's gonna come to a parade on We Don't Know What the Fuck Happened Day. The DSD has, I'll say a few words, introduced Nora Durst.
What's she gonna say?
She lost her entire family, Doug. She'll say whatever the fuck she wants to.
Mayor.
Jesus, I never should have told you to watch The Fucking Wire.
Lucy?
Gentlemen, you mind giving the chief and I a moment? Rough night? You are aware that people like dogs.
I like dogs.
Then stop fucking shooting them, because that's something crazy people do.
I tell you, I liked her so much, I'm going to have to look up the actress and see what else she's in, because she was really, really good. Nora was absolutely my MVP for season 1 by a country mile. She was my favourite. She was up there. But she went dark places, and I was just really angry at her a lot. And I think it was the narrative. It wasn't, you know, Carrie Coon didn't get less effective as an actor. She got better as an actor, actually. The performances that she was absolutely killing it, you know, all the way through. But, you know, that's not the same as which character I really want to kind of have a happy ending and I'm rooting for. And I realised as things were going on that I was searching for Laurie in scenes, you know, and when she had an episode that was Laurie centric, I was as excited as I was about Nora centric episodes in season 1, and that's only got stronger as time moved by. So Laurie for overall MVP. I'm gonna leave I'll leave the favourite episodes and stuff to my non visceral review, and I'll also think about where this series goes in terms of my top. I can't even put into words how happy I am that I decided to react to this show. It was so random, you know, I just happened to know nothing about it, and I saw that Damon Lindelof was involved in it. I think I heard about it because I was listening to Lost podcasts after I finished the show, and someone was saying, oh, you know, his next project was you know, The Leftovers. That's it. That's all I had going in. So it could have been completely rubbish. Like, I had no idea what this was, you know, where this was going to take me. I just hoped that it would give me something, you know, somewhere to move TV-wise after Lost. Because, you know, where do you really go after a show like that? Well, you know what? You go to Mapleton and you go to Miracle and you go to Pigeon Road or whatever it was, Melbourne. Hang on. Miracle... Mapleton, Miracle, it's all M's. we'll move on. I think what I'd really like to do is watch now, because I can, the shows around The Leftovers. So I'm not gonna react to it. I'm gonna watch the psychology of Kevin just for my own thing, because I just like to sit there and watch it. But I think what I'd really like to do is give patrons a chance to maybe send me things about The Leftovers that you'd like me to react to. If there are, you know, everything. I don't even know how much of this stuff there is, because obviously it was grievously unfairly, in my opinion, that, you know, this show isn't as big a franchise as Lost or Game of Thrones. It fucking should be. I'm sorry. This show should be mentioned in the same breath as Breaking Bad and The Wire, because everyone goes mental about The Wire, even though I just think it's excellently executed. I don't think it's as good as Breaking Bad, but you know, it should be uttered in the same breath, like, by everyone. I do not understand for the life of me why this show isn't more widely known about, because no one I know has ever heard of it. You know, a couple of people, but it's not. I'm based in the UK, obviously, and this show has no profile here. It's just come on Sky Atlantic in the UK, so there is a chance now, at least, that there'll be more people here coming into contact with the show and realising actually just how fucking brilliant it is. I really, really want that to happen, because it should. You know, I'm gutted it's going to happen after the point that awards are going out, because there were so many incredible performances in this programme. You know, I think the only actor that I sort of thought, oh, you're not quite up to snuff, was the woman playing Mary Jameson. No offence to you, by the way, the actor, you still did incredibly well, but that was the only actor in the entire show at any point where I went, oh, that's a person who looks like they're acting. Everyone else, you know, and that's staggering. I can't say that of Lost. You know, I can't actually say that of Game of Thrones. There are a couple of ropey acting performances in Game of Thrones. So that's how good the acting is. It really is a show apart. It's got to join the camp of shows apart. So what I can guarantee you is I will be reacting to further Damon Lindelof projects. So if you know them, tell me them. I know there's, what's it called, The Watchmen coming up next year or something. We'll be doing that together, guys. We will ride again the Lindelof through. And I think with that, we're probably done. We did the 3 seasons, 30 whole episodes. It's a lot of time. Thank you to each and every single one of you for coming on this journey with me, whether you've been watching this live each week as I've been recording it, or it's 2 years down the line and you've just stumbled across the playlists on my channel. Whenever you're watching this and however you've experienced it, I just want to thank you for watching it with me. I've had the most extraordinary time, which has probably been fairly self-evident from all of the videos. It's just exciting as I'm a brand new reactor at this point. I've not reacted to any shows before, so we've completed our first show and it was absolutely outstanding. I did not think that I was walking into one of the greatest shows of all time when I chose to watch The Leftovers, but I got to be honest, by the end of the first episode I was hoping that that was the case, and it didn't only not disappoint me, you know, it just took off from there. That was not a high point in the journey, it was, you know, so it's been fantastic. I'm thrilled to have shared it with you. Please make sure you go to the comment section and tell me your feelings. How did you feel at the end of this finale? Did you love it? Did you hate it? You know, what questions did you have remaining? How did you interpret the whole story? You know, did you come out of this finale episode feeling all of your theories were intact, or did some get blown to bits? You know, those of you who, now this is, you know, maybe a year or so since you've watched the finale of season 3, have your views changed? You know, do things look differently to you now from where you're standing? And you know what, if you want to throw in the bits you enjoyed most about this particular journey with me, you know, and a reaction that made you laugh, you know, particularly loudly, or something I said that you've remembered, or what, you know, put that in as well. It's always nice to get a little compliment here and there. But I'll tell you what I've enjoyed from you guys. I've enjoyed the fact that not one of you at any point in 3 seasons has spoiled me. That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. You've been incredibly, in fact, impeccably well behaved. You know, you've not even said, oh my God, you've got to, you know, there's been no clues. None. So I've got to go into each episode blind. You know, I didn't even know when a mega episode was coming up because you didn't tell me. And I'm so, so grateful for that. And what I'm also grateful is, you know, the guys like Gabriel, Kapunk, the video, Pew. I can't remember what the end of Pew's name is. I always go, oh, it's Pew. I would say Pew Burrito. That may or may not be right. Mauer, Maru, Alejandro Gil, Terry Nation. Oh God, I'm never going to remember all of your names. I'm trying to. I'm probably easier for me to remember the people that I've literally been talking to this morning. But if I've interacted with you in the comments, if I've replied, I'm talking to you. Thank you for having the most amazing conversations with me, and I really love the long messages. You know, I know some of you at the bottom are like, oh God, sorry for the essay. Never apologise. I really love those messages where you're sharing, you know, your interpretations of things, or you're telling me, you know, like at the beginning of season 3 when you were like, this is what this means, they're Millerites, and I love that. That's fantastic. So never stop doing that. I really, really enjoy it. And even if I haven't got time to give you a great long message back, know that I've absorbed it, I think about it, I reflect on the messages that you've sent. So that's been amazing. And just the general, like, uplifting, enthusiastic kind of atmosphere that you've all created in the comment section. Like, we're all here because we just love something and we're really enjoying loving it together. That's been fantastic. So for now, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for coming on this one, and keep a lookout for what we're going to be reacting to in the future, because it'd be lovely to see you again. And for those of you that are coming along on this journey, woo, let's do this. That was American Mum. And for those of you that are coming along on that journey, let's have at it. Thank you, and goodbye.